For today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. It's a review of our new life in Spain. And P.S. you can drink the water. We're Neil and Sue. We retired early and are now living in Spain on our NLVs. Join us as we explore this colourful and exciting country. Hi, we're Neil and Sue. We've been living in an apartment in Spain for about 8 months now, and we thought we'd give you a roundup about how it's gone for us. Since Brexit, moving to Spain full time has got a whole lot harder, and we now needed visas to be here. Thanks, Boris. As we're both now retired, getting NLVs, or non-lucrative visas, was our best option. To qualify, you need both not to be working and have enough cash in the bank, or pensions coming in monthly, or passive income enough to support yourselves. It's your turn.
Where's it gone? Oh, there. The plan wasn't for us to retire and live out here yet, really, was it?
No.
We'd had the apartment just over a year, but every time we went back to the UK after spending a week or 10 days here, just got harder and harder. As soon as we went back, we were planning our next trip out. So then started looking into how we could possibly live out here full time. Obviously, since Brexit, the 90, 180 day rule applies. So we needed to see how else we could make it possible.
And that's what really gave the name for our channel, Get Me to Spain. Because every time we went back to Wales, it was raining and miserable. And that's what we used to say to ourselves. We were saying, hashtag get us to Spain.
Yeah. There's lots of advice out there on the internet, but it can be a bit overwhelming and conflicting and not all correct, I don't think. So we started looking around for companies that could do the whole process for us. Although you can do it yourself, but I'd advise anybody really to go through a specialist company. It takes all the...
Because a lot of the forms need to be filled in Spanish, and it's legal Spanish, and normal people probably wouldn't understand what was happening.
No, and peace of mind that you're doing it all correctly. So Chris was absolutely fantastic. You got a free initial phone call with him. He explained the whole process, what each step involved, the fees, everything. So after discussing it all, we decided to go with UPSTICKS, and cannot praise them enough. They're fantastic, and we'll be doing our renewals, which we need to do in year 1 and year 3 again with them. Took the headache out of everything, didn't they?
Yeah. When you're putting your whole life on hold and making such a big change, you want to get it right and not have to mess about.
Yeah, they were excellent, and they still are now. As Neil said before, with the NLVs, you're not allowed to work, so it's a shame, but we had to retire early, but we got over that. But then you need enough money to support you for 5 years, basically, without, as you say, you're not allowed to work. So our option was we had to sell our house back in the UK to give us the money to live on, basically, for 5 years, as we're both too young to claim the state pension yet. Luckily for us, our house sold really quickly. After selling the house and getting all our paperwork, we headed off up to Manchester to hand in our applications. Now, it can take up to 90 days, so we spent time with family while we were waiting for our visas to come through. We were very lucky. They came through in,
23 days.
23 days. As soon as we had them, we were on that plane within a couple of days, really, off out to Spain.
Yeah, I think within 3 days, I think we got the visas on the Friday, and I think we had our planes booked and out here on the Monday.
Yeah, so out to Spain we came. After settling in for a couple of weeks, we then started the next part of our 5-year temporary residency programme. Again, UPSTICKS helped us along the way with everything. We had to go to the town hall to get what's called a padron, which is basically, I suppose, equivalent to being on the electoral roll in the UK. You do that in the nearest town hall to where your apartment or house, wherever you've got, actually is. This was literally a 2-minute appointment. And UPSTICKS organised the appointment for us. What did we have to do after that then? Then we had to get what's called a TIE card, which again is like your identification card.
Yeah, it's a bit like a British driving licence, an ID card with photograph and details about you on it.
Yeah, you need to have a TIE card for lots of things in Spain, don't you? If you're buying a car or lots of things for travelling. Again, UPSTICKS helped us with this. We did have to go to Alicante, which is about an hour away, to get that. There are other closer areas, but appointments have been quite hard this year, I think, for everyone trying to get appointments. So we were happy to go to Alicante. One of UPSTICKS representatives met us there. Made
Jane?
sure
Was it Jane?
I can't remember what her name was, sorry. She met us there. She wasn't allowed to come in with us. We both had to go in separately. We couldn't even go in together. And it was in Spanish, which was a bit...
Victoria.
Victoria, yeah.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah, that was her name. Sorry, Victoria. Was a bit worrying initially because I went in first thinking, oh, am I going to understand what they're saying? But Victoria assured us that she would be outside and if there was any issues, she would come in and translate for us. But it was absolutely fine. Took longer than the padron appointment, but probably only 10 minutes or something.
Yeah. There was a very long queue outside and it was absolutely boiling hot.
Yeah. Was that when we had our fingerprints?
Yeah.
That's when they take your fingerprints as well. So they do all the paperwork there. They say we had to go in separately. Neil then went in and did ours. And we got then given a receipt of what we'd done on the day, and then it took about a month, didn't it, for the actual TIE cards to come back. So we had to go back to Alicante again to pick them up. But not an issue. Alicante's nice.
Yeah.
And it's only less than an hour away, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we combined that with going into the town for a look
we
around.
went to see the castle and
Yeah, it was nice. We had lunch and then went up to the castle.
To be able to drive out here, if you've got a British licence, you can only drive for up to 6 months. There is an easy process. You just basically need to get your British driver's licence swapped over to a Spanish one. So we had to go to a little office in the next town here, Rajales. No appointment, you just had to go and sit in the room.
Yeah,
so it
was an afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Between 4 and 6 or something?
Yeah, so quite funny, you just walk in and sit down. You needed to have a simple eye test done, and again a simple hearing test done, and then was taken into another room where there was like looked like a computer setup from the 1960s.
Yeah.
With 2 pedals. You basically, it was like a simulated driving on a road.
I think it was to test coordination and reaction time. Possibly,
reaction time.
Yeah.
So you had to follow a little thing in between the lines. It was quite funny. Mine was beeping the whole time when I was outside the line, so I was thinking, oh my goodness, I hope you get more than
one chance
at this. But all was fine. It was only about 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
After doing all that, then you just got a little certificate to say you'd passed the test, which we then had to send off with our applications to swap over the licences.
Yeah, and the British licence would be put into the pack as well.
Yeah. Again, you can do this yourself, but all the forms are in Spanish and it's quite complicated. So although UPSTICKS themselves don't do it, they've got contacts of the company that does do it or assists them to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's not a fast process. We did it quite a few weeks now, and we're still waiting for the licenses to come back.
Yeah,
I think they said it could take up to 3 months or something, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it said 6.
No, up to 6 months.
It can take up to 6 months, I think, for your, what's going to look like our old British driver's licenses, but obviously Spanish ones to come back. But in the meantime, you've got a temporary license, which is just on a bit of paper in case you stop by the police.
So we just carry that around in the glove box of the car.
Yeah. The only obstacle with having to wait for so long is we've got trips planned to go back to the UK, and you can't hire a car on a temporary licence, so it's going to be public transport for the next couple of times we go back.
You won't be using our old age bus pass in Wales.
Shh, we're probably not meant to still use that.
Talk about driving in Spain, you've really got to keep your wits about you. Apart from remembering to drive on the wrong side of the road, some things in Spain are completely different. Like going around roundabouts is an absolute nightmare. There's a few rules about it, but I don't think anyone seems to pay much attention to what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to keep in the outside lane every time you're going round, even if you're going to the third or fourth exit. You keep in the outside lane. The inside lane, I
don't know what it's for.
I don't know what it's for. They say it's an overtaking lane, but why you're overtaking going round a roundabout, I've got no idea. So you've got to keep your wits about you, because there's people moving from the inside lane and they try to pull in front of you.
Yeah, they just cut across
when you're going round as you're meant to, round the outside, you get cars coming from the inside and cutting you up on the way around. And another thing to watch with roundabouts is nearly every time on the way in and the way into and the way out of roundabouts, there's a pedestrian crossing, and there's no distance at all between the exit. It's usually just a few feet, from when you exit, and sometimes not even enough, for a car to be stopped. So you've really got to keep your wits about you with roundabouts.
Plus, you've got people on where the crossings are as well. 9 times out of 10, it's a bike lane as well. So you've got bikes going across the crossing and people walking, and you've just exited the roundabout. So,
And electric scooters too. They whiz around quite often down the middle. In the middle of a roundabout, they don't keep to the left or right. They're going down the middle where the white line is. Now, this is the famous Flamingo roundabout on the way into Torrevieja. As you'll notice, before I can even get to it, there's a pedestrian crossing, and you've got to watch. Nearly every roundabout has pedestrian crosses on the way in and on the way out. So I'm approaching the roundabout. I'm going to go all the way around, so I indicate left to go all the way around. The inside lane is meant only for overtaking. So that car's actually done it right, move to the outside lane and then exit. You don't exit from the inside lane. So I'm going all the way around, and then I indicate right just as I exit, watching for people crossing on the pedestrian crossing. Whoop, there's another one. That's what you've got to watch for. Roundabouts are an absolute nightmare here. You've got to have your wits about you the whole time.
Driving, you need to keep your wits about you, but it's been fine. We've bought a new car out here, which was quite an easy process as well, wasn't it? We did buy it from a new car dealership, and they sorted all the paperwork out for us, and you actually got the first year's insurance free, didn't we? The insurance also automatically covers you for breakdown cover. It's not separate like it is in the UK with the AA or the RAC. It's all included in your car insurance. So
And the cost of the insurance, I don't think was any dearer than in the UK, was it?
No, I think it was a little bit cheaper. Probably if you took out the cost for the breakdown cover as well, it was fine. So we're getting used to driving now. It's a bit hairy to start with. Neil tended to do all the driving. It took me quite a while to get behind the wheel, but it's fine now. People really don't indicate here and they do drive quite close behind you. They don't leave a gap, but so far so good.
And drivers tend to drive quite fast here too. You know, there was a stretch going into Torrevieja that was meant to be 50, and I think I was the only person who ever drove at 50 going into this. There's people always passing on the outside.
Same with where it's 30, we stick to 30, but people overtake us all the time.
Oh, I'm
sure they're muttering behind us most of the time.
Yeah.
Why are they going so slow? But
yeah, I'm sure they seem to be passing us at about 60 most of the time. We've done a bit of travelling around now. We did a road trip recently when we went to Cuenca and Valencia and then Calpe. And generally we found the roads to be much better quality than back in the UK. Far fewer potholes for sure.
I haven't seen any potholes.
No, and very few roadworks. Certainly no roadworks that seem to last for months and months and months in the motorway like you get back in the UK. On long trips, we found that the service stations on the motorways are very good quality, very clean and tidy inside. The one we visited on the way to Valencia had a full restaurant and bar facilities inside, which seemed very strange. Where you can stop in, have a pint or a glass of beer in the service station,
and then get back in your car and drive. Yeah,
it seemed very, very bizarre. One for the road, is it?
Supermarket shopping is the same out here as the UK. You get your popular supermarkets like Lidl, Aldi, and then you've got the Spanish ones, Mercadona, Maximus, Consum. They're generally closed on Sundays, although during the summer tourist season, I suppose you'd call it, and they are open on Sundays, but generally that's only for a few months of the year. They also have lots of what they call red days or blue days, I think they have as well, which are like public holidays, shall we say. Tend to have quite a lot of them, and all the supermarkets are closed on those days. But you can get everything you want in the supermarkets. If there is something in particular that you can't find, there are a couple of British supermarkets which sell Tesco and Co-op things, a little bit more expensive, but if you can't get it anywhere else, you can usually get it in there. The markets are great places to buy your fruit and veg, though, much cheaper than the supermarkets. Markets don't only sell fruit and veg, they sell everything: clothes, shoes, handbags. It's best going first thing in the morning because they do get extremely busy, especially in the summer season, and it gets quite hot then to walk around. It's also good to go early because you can get some really good cheap breakfast there, your old English breakfast if you want. All the markets have quite large food areas as well, with entertainment on. The big lemon tree one near us, there's a Belgian, is it Belgian?
Yeah, Belgian bar.
A Belgian bar which is always full, and they've always got singing going on there and entertainment. There's even a Belgian singing nun, which is quite entertaining.
Maar doe ze maar de groeten. Neem op zijn tijdelijke mij voor de gezelligheid, maar verder blijf ik vrij. Ze spelen met mijn voeten, maar doe ze maar de groeten. Ik blijf wel houden van de vrouwen, maar gaan trouwen, nee, dat is er niet meer bij. Ze spelen met mijn voeten.
say you get everything there: clothes, shoes, bags.
Oh, you're genuine fakes.
Yeah, but good fun wandering around. But yeah, have a budget in mind because you can spend quite a lot more than you intended to initially. But I say you get good breakfasts in all of them as well.
If you're doing any DIY or home decoration, your local Chinese shop, every town has one, stocks everything you could ever need for DIY, from screws, paint, garden supplies, absolutely everything.
They also sell clothes and bags, furniture, plants, kitchen crockery, saucepans. You could buy everything in there, really.
Yeah, Tupperware, plastic containers, bins, absolutely everything.
We spent quite a few trips going to the Chinese shops when we first were setting up the apartment.
We're inside one of the so-called Chinese shops, or Chino bazaars, which sell absolutely everything.
Probably one of the best things about living out here is that we can eat out quite cheaply. We probably go out once or twice a week to eat. Yeah.
We find that we're going out, we're eating much later than we would back home. Usually if we're going out, we don't normally go out till about 7. Spanish people seem to eat a lot later in the day than we do.
Some of the restaurants don't even open till 7 or 8 p.m, do they?
No. We used to go at about 6 o'clock, and quite often we'd be the only people in the place.
Or waiting for them to open.
Yeah.
But food's much cheaper to eat out here. There's every kind of cuisine, really. Lots and lots of Chinese restaurants, lots of Indian, not so many Mexican. Tapas bars.
Yeah, every restaurant here seems to have what they call a menu del dia, where you get usually 3 courses, and quite often 3 courses and a drink for a fixed price, anywhere from maybe 10 to 15 euros, and you'll get a starter, choice of mains, usually ice cream as a pudding, or sometimes get a choice of puddings, and then it usually includes a small drink, so half pint of beer or a soft drink or maybe a glass of wine, all included at the price.
We thought that maybe the menu del dias you'd get much smaller portions, but only one place we've found that was the case, wasn't it? Where the portions were very small, but everywhere else just seems to be normal sized portions. And sometimes you've got a choice of maybe half a dozen mains, sometimes you've got a choice of about 40 different mains, so it just depends on where you go and what type of food that you want to eat.
Getting postal deliveries is the thing we've probably found hardest out here in that our urbanisation doesn't get a regular post office delivery. We don't have a letterbox, and there's not a bank of letterboxes serving the block of apartments. So there's a couple of options. You can either arrange to rent a post box from the post office itself, and then you go and collect your mail. What is it per year?
€90.
About €90 a year for that. Or in Quesada, there's a local shop where you can get your mail redirected to, and you just pay, per letter that arrives. What's that?
It's €1 per letter. I think if you get a parcel delivered there, they then weigh it, and I think it's €2 a kilo. So at the moment we're just doing that. Just thought €90 for a year. Are we really going to get 90 letters a year? Probably not. So for the time being, I think we've only had 2 letters anyway, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just get all our mail redirected to our daughter in the UK at the moment and pick it up when we go back. So yeah, I think that's probably what we'll continue to do.
Yeah. Getting Amazon does deliver here and will deliver to the apartment. They also have Amazon boxes near the petrol station in the high street. So for smaller items, if you know you're not going to be in, you can arrange for Amazon to deliver to the lockers, or the local ironmonger is also an Amazon delivery spot. So if it's a bigger item that won't fit in the lockers, you can get it delivered to a local shop as a pickup spot. Regarding mobile phones and internet, there's dozens of different options you can get out here. I'm with Lobster and I pay, I think it's €12.99 per month. That includes 50 gigabytes of data. The good thing about Lobster is if you're going to be coming backs and forwards and you're not here full time, you can actually stop it and then restart it again when you're back here. You can also use it in the UK like normal. You can use your call allowance and your data allowance when you're back in the UK. Internet, we've got very good fast internet here. It's 600 megabits per second, whatever that means. It also includes a TV package which gives all UK channels and Spanish channels, German channels included in the package. It was free setup, and rather than spending 3 months waiting for the setup to arrive, we went in one afternoon and arranged for installation the next afternoon. So we had it within a day of organising it. We've really enjoyed our first 8 months living in Spain. I go for a swim every morning before breakfast, although it's starting to get a bit cold for that now.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. I've been up and I go for a swim and then have my breakfast. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to do that. It's getting a bit cold now. We're in mid-November. I'm trying to get to the end of November, but then maybe I'll quit throughout the most of winter.
Life here really has been easy. I think we've settled in fairly quickly. To be honest though, I suppose the weather's been fantastic since we got here in March, so it just feels like we're on an extended holiday really. I think probably the winter will be a bit more of a challenge. Not being able to sit out in the sun all day, I'm not sure quite what we'll do. We're thinking of maybe getting some bikes and can go wandering around, but watch this space.
But life is just what you do back in the UK. You get up, you have breakfast, you have lunch, you watch Bargain Hunt, you do the washing, you do the dishes, you do your shopping. The only difference is it's in the sun and an awful lot warmer.
Mm-hmm. And we're not working, so there's no rush to do anything.
No, I suppose that's part of what we've done in this first 6 months, is getting used to being retired and not having to go out to work.
Mm-hmm. It's quite an adjustment to, we both worked full time all our lives, and now to suddenly not have anything, but we've managed.
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching our little video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so.
Because it's free.
It's free.
That's what everyone says.
That's what everyone says. So please subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you more videos soon. Bye.